President will call the meeting to order. Prayer and Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Moore, since you don't want to sit next to me anymore, could you lead us in that, please?
Oh, for heaven's sake. Attention. Salute. Pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Who's praying? Me too? I got both?
Yeah, you're doing so well.
Jeepers, that's 2 months in a row.
I wasn't here last time, so you did.
Thank you, Lord, for this day. Beautiful weather, opportunity to serve our community. Lead us, guide us, and direct us on this path, and we hope to have wise decisions. Thank you, Lord. Amen. And all God's people.
First item of business is the approval of the minutes from the October 18th, 2021 meeting.
So moved.
Scott seconded.
I guess I never had you do a roll call. I'm so used to doing other meetings. We never do a roll call on the school board.
Well, and you don't have to unless you want to, because I can mark them if you would rather do it that way.
There you go.
We're good.
Okay.
Have a motion and second to approve the minutes of the October 18th minute. Do we have any questions or any discussion? If you could take a roll call, please.
Okay. Sordahl,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Durr,
Yes.
Moore.
Yep.
Berger,
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Fourth item is petitions from the audience. Do we have any petitions from the audience? Don't really have an audience, do we? Next item is discussion, possibly recommend council action regarding Mayor Lee's appointment of Houston Britton for vacant Economic Development Trust Authority, seat number 6. I just have some questions.
Mr. Chairman, if I could, Mr. Britton has been in our community for a long time. He has served faithfully on city council. He served faithfully on other boards and commissions since he has lived here, and it seemed to me appropriate to consider him to take this seat number 6.
Okay, and my understanding of the ordinance is that the mayor, you make the appointments subject to the approval of city council, is that correct?
That is true.
Okay, and it doesn't require approval from this committee, is that right?
No, it does not require, but I think it's appropriate to at least bring it to this body. There's nothing saying that we should not do that.
Okay, I understand, and I would just, if it came to this body and you wanted this body's direction, I'd feel more comfortable if applications were made and this board reviewed those applications and then made a recommendation. However, if you want to go this way, I mean, this is solely your choice and your decision, your prerogative.
Yes, it is.
So, I mean, that's just my feeling. I'd rather take, if we were making the recommendation, I'd rather see applications.
Applications for
People interested in this
this
position.
trust.
Because I know there were others too.
Say again?
I think there were others who were also interested.
Perhaps there are. Perhaps there are. I have no issues with that.
So,
Not one.
I mean, that's just it's the mayor's prerogative. He wants to proceed with that, that's fine. If this is going to be involved, I'd rather us take applications and review them and then make a recommendation from that.
Isn't that the way it was originally,
When
basically?
it was, there were recommendations that came from city council. There were recommendations that came from citizens at large. So,
Right.
but we were forming it. So our trust indenture defines that it's an appointment from mayor. So in following that, I'm happy to do that. I have no problem at all. No problem at all with this body electing. I have no problem with that. So, I mean, if that's a recommendation of the chair, if this body would rather go that direction, it's no problem for me.
I mean, I would just, if we were going to be involved, I'd rather get everybody's interest in participating in this. So that's my thought, either do that or you simply follow the prerogative that's been given to you by the ordinance that created this trust.
I'm happy to take that prerogative and send it on to council, but I would rather have a nod from this organization.
And I would just feel better if we reviewed other possibilities of people who may want to participate in this and see. I mean, that's,
So Fred, are you suggesting that we do that effective with this particular vacancy, or are you talking about?
now I'm talking about with this vacancy.
Okay.
How would we do that? I mean, will we solicit the receipt by the mayor of interested parties, and then the mayor via Darla sends them to us for our consideration? Or do we want these coming directly to us? I know I'm thinking a bit off the top of my head. I don't know that I necessarily want things coming directly to me, but I guess if we wanted to delay action on this for till the December meeting and ask that anyone interested contact the mayor's office over the next couple of weeks. And,
That notice can go out, and we certainly have a newspaper available to make that announcement, and that those are being solicited, and then can be considered by this board.
Again, I guess the trust indenture places the responsibility or the authority on the mayor to make appointments to be ratified by the council. I understand that it probably makes sense to have the EDTA recommend favorably on an appointment. So we would remain a recommendatory, this would be a recommendatory action
That's all it could be.
if the mayor chose to involve us.
Yes, and I think you're right.
Yeah.
He chooses to involve us, or he just operates on his prerogative to bring a name to the city council.
The culture in our city is, gives the mayor responsibility, doesn't give the mayor necessary prerogative, but it gives the mayor responsibility to appoint to all of the boards and commissions. And this is no different than it would be appointing to any board or commission. And the culture is that if there was a recommendation to part board, and there will be a recommendation to part board, because we've had a resignation from the park board, so I would take recommendation to the park board and ask the park board to ratify that and send it on to council. So, and that's what I've done here. If this body would rather go out and take applications, I don't have a problem with that, if that's what this body would like to do.
I don't know that I want to do that, but I do recall after the last meeting, it was reported that Gene Dillard had resigned. I don't know that necessarily would, in the average citizen's mind, create if I have some interest in serving on the EDTA, I will further, forward my name to the mayor for consideration. So yeah, it might be worth putting this off to our December meeting. If you want to, Jerry, circulate anyone interested, let the mayor know, and then if the mayor chose to involve us in the process, we could certainly give our 2 cents at the December meeting.
You could nominate somebody else.
Yeah.
At this, right now, I mean, you could nominate somebody else.
I would much rather have it put out that applications and interested parties can provide that and allow it. I just think that would be fair for everybody and fair for this city.
Do we take a vote on that?
You'd table this.
I think this would just be tabled
Okay,
with a request that notice be given,
okay.
that interested parties would contact the mayor's office.
Do we need to
And
set
probably contact and provide something in writing.
can we set a deadline for that so that we don't have like stragglers maybe at the very end?
How about,
When do you post the agenda the Friday before?
The Friday before?
the Friday before? How about,
We do,
So what
Would be
is
the
the next
10th.
meeting date?
the next meeting date is the 13th, so
Of
we would post it
December.
on Friday, yeah. So
Okay.
Friday the 10th would have to be posted, but we would
How
need,
about by that, what's that Monday?
that Monday is the 6th.
Monday, the Monday before.
Yeah, well, the Monday, the Monday before the meeting, the
Yeah.
6th.
The 6th.
We could post it then, and then if there's anything else that needs to be on that agenda, we can post an amendment to the agenda.
Okay, hypothetical, we post the notice, and we are flooded with applicants who wish to be considered to serve. Let's say we've got 7. Are those 7 gonna come to this board, and then we're going to screen those and make a recommendation to the mayor? Are we gonna winnow those down to say like 3 and submit to the mayor that, hey, we're comfortable with any one of these 3? We have confidence in any one of these 3 would make.
Either that or procedure, I mean, I don't know how many you're gonna get, we need to find out how many we have by 6. I think they need to provide, those applications need to also be provided to us then at that point in time. And those people are welcome to be here. I mean, this is how we filled the school board position. The ones that applied, and we set a time for them, and we interviewed all of them.
I'm just trying to get in my head a thought process. What does this look, once we get the applications in hand, what does that process look like from that point
I
forward?
would think they would need to prepare to be here on the next meeting.
So we can construct that and send it to the newspaper and ask for respondents.
Me personally, I'm looking forward to grilling Houston and Britton at the next meeting. Like a fish, man.
So I guess we would just table this
Okay.
with those directions.
You need to take a motion for table.
Okay.
So moved.
Have a-
Question or a comment?
Let's see if we get a second first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Now, Mr. Verner.
In the future, can the agenda not be sent to the chair and the vice chair prior to it being put out to the public? Then we can avoid maybe some of these discussions like that here,
Certainly.
you know. And I would recommend that. I don't know if that's a motion or anything, but
No.
Just a point of
do
order.
it.
A point of order.
Go for it.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. We have any other questions or discussion? Call the roll, please.
Williams,
Yes.
Durr,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Berger,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Sordahl.
Yes. Takes us to economic development updates.
I have several items, just points of information. I'd be happy to take questions at any time. We have home building activity going on. There are 18 new homes that are in process right now. We have commercial building, new and remodel. There are 7 projects that I know about that are going on in our town right now. We have an annexation petition that will be considered at a public hearing, which will be at city council meeting on December the 7th. That's land, if you've read the newspaper or if you, excuse me, have kept up with council or with things going on, you would have seen that. That's land that is in the north part of Pryor, that's right off of Gaither Road and close to Old Airport Road, property adjacent to Stonegate Addition. Mid-American Industrial Park is very active in development and recruitment, and I've been called to several meetings over the last few months. Ricky Hayes was scheduled to be here today, but he got called away. I do anticipate that we'll have another executive session at our December meeting.
Of the EDTA?
Of the EDTA, yes, yeah. Also at our next meeting, I'd like to recommend that we form a TIF task force for the purpose of pursuing a plan to send to City Council. Nate Ellis of the Public Finance and Law Group, who spoke to us a month or so ago, He is very happy to work with us. That firm is the one that served twice as our bond counsel. So I think we have maybe some momentum going that direction, and it would be well that we perhaps start to formulate a plan. That's all I have to report at this time. Does anybody have a question?
Yeah, a couple. So formation, obviously, the TISC task force.
This task.
The TIF task force, obviously something that would need to be formed to even begin to explore that. So is that something that you would want discussed here and then a recommendation to the council, or you just want to take it to the council and just recommend, what's the plan?
So the governing body, which would be city council,
Right.
would be the one to approve a plan, but we need to formulate a plan before
Right.
we send it to council. So to have a task force where we can formulate a plan before sending it to
So my
council.
question is the intention just take that directly to the council, or do you want that discussed here first to make a recommendation on the plan? Because I think he also talked about possible maybe doing tax rebate situations. So I didn't know if you wanted to create a full discussion here,
Sure.
develop that, and then make a recommendation. So is the agenda becoming something unmanageable to be able to put that on the next one?
I think just to form a task force is something that could be on the agenda for next,
So we can get that moving?
so we can
at
get
least
it
look
moving
at it?
along, sure.
Okay, so if we could put that on there, please, sir.
Yeah.
And then the other question, Scott, is there still, you're the downtown merchant here. Is there still some consideration by the downtown merchants wanting to know if signage can be put up downtown for different parking or 2 hours? Is that something we need to be concerned about, or? I know that was asked about us to make.
Yeah, I know that last month, Jenny walked around downtown, just Graham and Adair streets and everything, and maybe Van, and there was 300 and some parking spots. And
314?
313.
313, yeah, 313 parking spots. The problem, and I know some of my tenants have done well in parking in other spots to free up things. I think the 2-hour parking is something we need to look at eventually. Right now, there's a lot of parking, but there's some of them on Graham Avenue that have limited parking, where if tenants are parking in front, it keeps the commercial properties from getting people into the stores, so.
So you think downtown merchants are still wanting us to look at that?
I think it's something we can look at.
So we can have discussion, could we have that also on our December 6th agenda to at least discuss that?
Regarding the signage,
Regarding the signage and the 2-hour parking in the downtown area, because I know the merchants have come here before and asked us to consider that. And again, if we do something, it would just have to be a recommendation to the city council, but at least allow us to consider it, make a recommendation one way or another. So if we could have that on the agenda, please, too. And then other than that, Mayor, I know you mentioned about the building. I don't know if we need, shout out to Travis Butler.
Pardon me now?
Shout out to Travis, just as a side, shout out to Travis Butler
Yeah.
for the houses he is building on the lots that he bought from the city.
Yeah.
Doing an outstanding job.
I know what the breakdown is. There are three contractors who are active, and he's certainly one of them.
Any other questions, Mayor?
And the next meeting would be the 13th of December?
yes.
Anything else, Mayor?
That concludes my report.
Guess that takes us to adjourn. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second. Motion second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.